afternoon, Mrs. Speaker and House. It was once Beyoncé who told us that girls run the world. This is sadly not the world we live in today, where most women's lives are controlled and oppressed by male figures or politicians. As side proposition, we will be telling you exactly why rejecting male participation in feminist causes will help change this harsh reality. But starting off by defining some key terms in this debate, we define male participation as being that this House means that we would not allow men to have positions or input in feminist organisations, but would allow them to participate in marches and petitions, etc., and would appreciate all support given by males, as equality is a two-way street, and we need male participation to help uplift women as well. By feminist, we define this as a person who supports the advocacy of women's right on the grounds of equality of sexes. The parameters of this debate will be in all liberal and democratic countries in the world, and we contextualize this debate under the light of recent feminist marches and feminist organizations coming together to fight against women's reproductive rights and things that affect women, like tampon taxes. These have been seminal issues in our global society today, and feminists are growing as a cause, and we see that hold a key part in our society and changing the world to better it for equality and feminists. So on to my first point, we see that there is a large reliance on men all over the world in all social, political, and economic structures. Men often control women's lives economically and socially as providers and as husbands, and are seen as being the head of the family, the person who controls. So women usually are subservient and essentially oppressed by men. They feel that men have told them since they were 3 years old that men were stronger and smarter, and they should have learned maths, and you should have been in consumer sciences studying how to bake cakes, because for the rest of your life you can only be a housewife who made croissants for the children, because that's all you were, someone who made croissants for the children. You didn't do higher level maths, and you couldn't be an accountant. This is what we had been telling women for centuries, until the 20th century, essentially, and even the late 20th century. So, by having strong women in high places, and we're starting at home here, because feminist causes are the root of all the change that needs to be exacted in our society to change the way that women are treated, and feminist causes are really at the core of that. By having women in power, we're going to change the stereotype that we need men. We need men helping us organize things because we're incapable of organizing that. And we need men to make decisions, which we don't. We need examples for young girls and women in society who feel that men should play these roles. And the only way we're going to change that is by having a group of women do everything for themselves, who prove to both the world and themselves and their children that no men are needed in their lives, but wanted in their lives. That men don't have to run every single part of our society, and that there aren't many women magistrates and women presidents. I mean, there have only been a total of 7 women presidents in the world, and this is because there is a lack of belief that women are capable enough of doing such things. And even the women who have been in power have only ran for 1 or 2 terms. And as we've seen most recently, the president of South Korea, a woman, was taken out of power because of her superficial dealings, showing that the women we even do have in power today are problematic. And that we'd like to change this, and the only way we are going to change this is if we build a strong core base with women helping other women being in charge, women being in power, and inserting themselves. On to my second point. Allowing men to have positions in feminist organizations would be much like letting white people create the Freedom Charter. We see that men have never felt such a large scale of global oppression based on gender. Their opinions may not be valid or understanding of where feminists want to go, because men have never been oppressed in this way. Men in power who are in control of female issues such as education, hygiene, and reproductive rights have proved ignorant and unable to see and address the needs of women. This is evident in laws such as the tampon tax, where in many first world countries, and even more so in third and second world countries today, we see that tampons, one of the most basic and fundamental things that women need to survive and to live hygienically, are a luxury tax. So why is something that every woman needs and every woman has to use, because we can't control our menstruation, is taxed as a luxury? And this is because the people in Parliament or the people who pass the laws and the bills are mainly men. Men didn't consider the fact that women need hygiene. Most of the women can't afford luxury tax, things that are luxury taxed, or even tampons in general, so most women end up using cloths and newspapers. But we see that if we had women in Parliament and women passing these bills, that there's no way that these issues would have gone unaddressed for half the population. And it is that because of the fact that men play such a high role that issues like hygiene are seen to be unimportant, when that's one of the most fundamental human rights we have, the right to hygiene and clean and running water. And in fact, we give out condoms for men, but we don't give out these tampons. So it just shows you what a patriarchal-based society that we live in today is. So in conclusion, we need women role models. We need other women who play important roles in our society to change oppression and cut off this dependence on men in positions of power, starting where this is most important, which is in feminist causes. Men have failed for centuries to help and understand women's problems and have often disenfranchised them. In a patriarchal world, what has changed? We'd like to change women. Thank you.